Well, welcome everyone. Whether you're joining us live or watching the recording, we're so glad that you could be with us to learn more about expedition cruising in the polar regions, the equator, and the beyond. We are Suzanne and Steve Klasen, owners of CruiseOne Travel Agency in Show Low, Arizona. And now I want to welcome our guests. We have Bonnie Newman from Aurora Expeditions. Can you say hello to everyone, Bonnie?
Hi, everyone.
Okay, and then we have Tim from Silversea Expedition Cruises.
Very good afternoon, or whatever time of day this finds you.
All right, thank you. And Jansen Lagman of Celebrity Cruises.
Happy Sunday, everybody. Thrilled to be here.
All right. Well, and I want to give a big thank you for these three wonderful representatives for coming out and joining us for this presentation on a Sunday afternoon. I want to let them know how much I really appreciate it. So if you're new to my agency, maybe you found us through our advertising or referral of friends, I want you to get to know me, feel comfortable booking with us. I'm happy to do a phone conversation with anybody who wants to learn more about cruising, more about my agency, talk to you about your cruise plans, your dreams. I'd like to build really strong relationships with my clients. Most of my business comes from repeat and referral clients. So it's really important for me to get to know you and what your desires are and what you want to do as far as your travel. People who I consider some of my closest friends are clients who I've cruised with on one of our escorted group cruises. We are extremely happy to introduce the expedition experience to our guests. Steve and I have been on over 47 traditional cruises and hosted 2 group cruises to Antarctica, which were on traditional ships. They were big ships, too big for landing, and so they only included the scenic sailing. And that experience was perfect for some of the guests, but many, having experienced just that little taste of the exotic and remote polar locations, they expressed to us a desire to do something that was more immersive, that was a smaller ship that had landings. And for us, we felt the same way. So we wanted to get that fully immersive expedition experience, and also wanted to be able to advise our clients on what to expect and the value aspect of this type of experience. So this summer, we took the plunge, literally for me, and you'll see that in a minute, and we sailed on 2 Arctic expedition cruise and 1 equatorial adventure to the Galapagos. And we are so excited to share that experience with you. Just really quickly to tell you a little bit about my agency. I work for you, my clients. I have a lot of training and experience. I have my elite cruise counselor certification, and I'll tell you the best kept secret in travel, whether you use the expertise of an experienced travel advisor like me or going on your own, you're actually going to pay the same price. You will not pay a lower price going directly with the cruise line. So if you do go directly with the cruise line, you're actually paying for something that you're not getting, which is the advice and services of a full-time professional travel agent like me. I'm easily accessible, phone, text, email, nearly 24/7. And remember, I work for you, my clients. So now we're on to our agenda very quickly. We're going to talk about the expedition experience from each of our guest presenters that are here. And then after each segment, Steve and I are going to share our highlights of the cruise with each of those lines that we had this summer. And then we're going to wrap it up with some current promos that are exclusively for our webinar attendees. So to kick it off, I'm going to introduce Bonnie Newman from Aurora Expeditions. And Bonnie, please take it away.
Great. Well, thanks, everybody. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Suzanne, I don't think it will let me because you're sharing a screen.
It should just say, okay, well, I'll stop sharing. Go ahead.
There we go. All right. So you can see that?
It's all good.
Okay, perfect. So as Suzanne mentioned, my name is Bonnie Newman. I'm the sales director for Aurora Expeditions for the Western US. And I'm really happy to be here today and kind of show you what Aurora Expeditions is all about. First of all, we're an Australian company and we have more than 32 years of experience behind us. We are some of the pioneers in the polar exploration space. We were founded by a legendary Australian adventurer named Greg Mortimer, And our founding principles are those of adventure, exploration, and discovery. And our commitment to responsible travel is at the heart of everything we do. We're 100% climate neutral, and we're very close to becoming B Corp certified. So we're super excited about that. So as I mentioned, 32 years of experience. Greg Mortimer and his wife, Margaret, led their first Antarctic expedition in 1992, and they started taking their friends down to Antarctica and then snowballed into Aurora Expeditions. Our first Arctic expedition was in 1997, and we've always been pioneers and leaders in the space. We are one of the founding operators of IATO, which stands for the International Association of Antarctica Tour Operators, and we're also one of the first operators to join ACO, which is similar but for the Arctic regions. We have 2 new ships, which I'll talk more about in just a moment. So our purpose really is to create lifelong ambassadors for the planet and to also be the global leaders in sustainable expedition travel. We are involved in several citizen science programs and initiatives. So here's the ones that we're currently involved in. So our guests can participate in these science programs, collecting the data and sending it back. We also are involved in cleanups. It's our way of giving back to the areas that we visit. What makes us different is 100% climate neutral. We have the leading expedition team to passenger ratio of 1:8. So that's 1 expedition leader to every 8 guests. We're very relaxed and informal while you're on board. Because we're small, and I'll go into that a little bit later, we allow more time off the ship with 2 to 3 excursions per day. We also have the most comprehensive activity program. We've recently won a lot of awards and recognition. And I want to take a moment and really talk about our expert expedition team. So they are the most dedicated, experienced, and passionate expedition team out there. Small groups, big adventures, the highest ratio of expedition team to passenger, and again, more time off the ship to get the most out of your adventure. Depending on where we are in the world, we're going to have the appropriate expedition team. I like to say we have the right ologist. So whether it's a glaciologist, oceanographer, depending on where we are, we're going to staff it accordingly. So what we include on all of our expeditions is the Zodiac cruises, all of the walks and the hikes, the photography, bird watching, the citizen science program, the lectures. We're all about lectures, education and enrichment, and of course a polar plunge that Suzanne can talk more about as we get along here. So we offer more activities than any other company out there. So if you're very adventurous, you may want to add on camping in Antarctica, kayaking, diving, snowshoeing, rock climbing, paddling, snowboarding. So we have lots of different activities that you can add on and enhance your expedition. We provide all of the gear, so you don't have to worry about that. We also do all of the briefings to make sure that you're comfortable, and we're with you every step of the way. So these are some of our snowshoers and our snorkeling guests. So we do cover lots of different areas within the polar region. So there's Antarctica. We also do Greenland, Iceland, Scotland and Ireland, Costa Rica, Svalbard, Patagonia, so a wide range of destinations. But let's talk about the polar regions, because that is what our expertise is. So Antarctica is where you'll see the penguins. The Arctic is where you'll see the polar bears. I get a lot of times people ask, when's the best time to go to Antarctica? And my answer is anytime. You're always going to see whales, and most of the months offer penguin chicks. So it's really up to you when you want to go. I've got a couple pictures here of South Georgia, but I really want to talk about this. So IATA, which is the body that governs all of the activities in Antarctica, they've got lots of different rules, and two of them relate directly to the size of the ships. So any vessel with more than 500 passengers cannot make landings in Antarctica. So it's mostly a scenic cruise through the Antarctica Peninsula. If a ship has less than 500 passengers, you can land, but only 100 passengers can be ashore at one time. Our ships are very small. We carry an average of 100 guests, so everybody can land at the same time. So that's how we're able to maximize the amount of time you're ashore. So our two ships are called the Greg Mortimer and the Sylvia Earle. They're very similar. And you see the rounded nose in the front, that is called an X-bow. And we were one of the designers of this technology. It's very smooth and it's a lot more fuel efficient. So as you see new ships enter the marketplace, a lot of them will have that X-bow. This is what our standard rooms look like. They're very comfortable. We have heated bathroom floors. Our lecture theater on board the Greg Mortimer, there's plenty of seating for everybody. Our library, our workout room, and then the Sylvia Earle launched in 2022, last December. This is a staircase from the library to the Science Center, the lecture theater on that ship, standard room. And we also have mudrooms on both ships. We have 17 Zodiacs, and we have a platform that folds off the marina, and that's where we load up the Zodiacs. Sorry, not the Zodiacs, the kayaks. We have two restaurants on board each ship. So we have our main restaurant and we have the Rockhopper on the Sylvia Earle, which is a steakhouse. On the Greg Mortimer, the second restaurant is an Italian one. The food's phenomenal. Breakfast and lunch are going to be buffet with lots of choices, including options for vegetarian and vegan. And dinner is always a sit down, order off the menu a la carte. We do offer some fly sail combos. If you want to fly over the Drake Passage, we do offer some options there where you'll get on Antarctic Airways, and it's about an hour and 40-minute flight. Switching over to the Arctic, that's Svalbard, Iceland, Greenland, and the Canadian Arctic. I want to talk about Svalbard. We have a lot of options in Svalbard, and Svalbard is really the polar bear capital of the world. In Svalbard, this fascinates me. There's the global seed vault, and for those of you that don't know what that is, the seed vault houses seeds for every plant in the world in case of an apocalypse. We have the ability to regrow all the crops and plants. These are just some shots. So this is where we spotted a polar bear. This was the first one that we saw, and there's some polar bear tracks on the left. We saw a lot of polar bears, a lot of walrus, a lot of Arctic fox. These were some of the kayakers that were experiencing that. We saw the reindeer, just lots of fun. We're all about exploration. And of course, I mentioned we do the cleanups. So the middle picture was Cleanup Iceland, and then the ones on the end are Cleanup Svalbard. So it's our way of giving back to the communities that we visit. We do lots of guided hikes. And the way that we offer the hikes, there's different options that you can participate in. One is a very kind of short hike. We call them beachcombers. If you want to join a medium hike.
That's what we like to do, is the beachcomber.
And then there's the medium hikes and then the long hikes. So this was a day I did one of the long hikes. So we climbed quite high to the top of one of the mountains there. And that was our group. And then the easiest way down was to just slide down. So we had a lot of fun that day. And that was our expedition team that led us up on that hike. So here's some more walrus and Arctic fox and kayakers. This was one day we had some fast ice. We were able to pull the zodiacs up there and spend some time on the ice. Super fun. And then because we go to so many places and land 2 to 3 times a day, we always keep track of where we are. We put them on a map. So you can easily refer to that, because once you're on an expedition, sometimes all of the landings run together and it's just an easy way to keep track. And of course, no expedition would be complete without a polar plunge. So this was the polar plunge up in the Arctic. And that's it. I hope I didn't go past my 10 minutes.
No,
But
you did good, Bonnie. You did
okay.
good. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my presentation, which is my personal picture, which Bonnie had a lot of hers from that Sylvia Earle Svalbard in depth cruise. So there's the ship. That's one that I took from land. So that's how I got the picture. There's a picture where Svalbard is, in case people are wondering. You can kind of see it's north of Norway, east of Greenland, kind of, I don't know. It's up there. Okay. Some of my most favorite pictures. We had sunny days at the glaciers. We just loved this day where it was all foggy and we were going around. It was very mysterious driving around. Spectacular scenery in Svalbard. I mean, I can't even begin to describe. Like, every day was just something more beautiful and more different. And seeing it from the zodiacs up close and personal. And sometimes we would get off and we would sail up the shore, and the ship would meet us at the other end of the shore, so we didn't have to backtrack. And then, like I said, I'm not a birder, but I really got into the bird photography. And you can look at the little fat guillemot there fly. They have to flap their wings really hard to fly. Walrus, I got some great pictures of the walrus. This is a bay where they were all hauled out. That's a distant picture. And then, of course, we were able to slowly walk up to them and get some closer pictures of them. One night we were sailing along and they all were drifting by us on the ice. That was just a beautiful sight. One night we were up on the observation deck and somebody goes, there's a whale, there's a whale. And after we looked at it for a few minutes, we could identify it as a blue whale, which is the largest animal to ever live on the planet. And they're very rare. We actually had 2 blue whale spottings. Not sure if it was the same whale, but it was over a period of about 10 days in between. And the nice thing about the Sylvia Earle is that it's small and maneuverable. So when someone spotted that whale, we were able to kind of drive up to the area where the whale was and kind of hover there for a while and watch that whale for 10 or 15 minutes, rather than just saying, oh, I saw a whale, and not get to see it again. The beluga whales we saw when we were on the Zodiacs. And that was the moment that I was like, okay, this is really cool. Next, I have my own polar bear pictures. Before we left for the trip, we bought about a $350 200 times zoom lens camera. So nothing expensive. There were people who had cameras on that cruise that I think they paid more for the camera than we did for our first house. I mean, some really expensive cameras, and they got some great shots. But I was very pleased at my polar bear shots that I was able to get with my zoom camera. And one day we just had total cuteness. We spotted a mom and 2 cubs on the ice, and we were able to stay, kind of keep the ship downwind of them, so they really didn't notice us too much and out of their way. But we were hundreds of yards away, so you need the zoom lens to get these good pictures. But got some really nice pictures of this mom and cubs. And then finally one day we're on our Zodiacs, and this is towards the end of the cruise. We caught this bear walking along the fast ice, so that was pretty incredible. Texas Bar, Bonnie had a picture of this. This is one of those places where people who live in Longyearbyen can come out here on their ski-doos and camp out here overnight. And if you bring liquor, you can take some. If you take some, you're supposed to leave some behind. And I'm from Texas, so of course I was like, why is there a Texas bar? And I did the polar plunge. I was really proud of myself. It was a little scary because it was so cold. But if you look at what's behind me, that's actually the polar ice cap behind me there. So it was pretty incredible sight. We got out of the water, dried off, and then we had this wonderful picnic party up on top of the deck. Beautiful, beautiful sunny day. We had midnight sun, so it never got dark when we were on this cruise in June and July. Again, Bonnie mentioned the food, amazing international food with very attentive, personalized service. Many of the people who work for Aurora Expeditions have been with other larger cruise lines for years. So, hey, did you work for this cruise line? Yeah, we work for this one, that one. So they have a lot of experience in the cruising industry. And again, beautiful presentations of the food. One of the things that I was the most nervous about going into this cruise is having never gotten on or off a Zodiac was what the process was like. So this next slide, you see they grab you, you take one step there, one step on the little stool, and then you're ready to go. It couldn't be more simple. I mean, it was really the expedition crew and the able seamen made it super easy to get on and off those Zodiacs. And they were really pretty comfortable, and you never felt like they were going to tip over or anything. I mean, I was so comfortable on the Zodiacs after the first couple of days. I was like, how am I going to do a cruise that doesn't have Zodiac cruises as excursions anymore? I don't know how. Here's again our wonderful expedition team. We were led by the wonderful Howard Whelan. He worked as a cameraman on the first all Australian ascent of Mount Everest. And he's been with Aurora Expeditions since the founding of the company. But no matter which expedition leader you're going to be with Aurora, you're going to have somebody with lots of experience and expertise. And here's just kind of a summary of our experience. We loved this destination, the full immersion in it. We were amazed by the wildlife and scenery, and we would wholeheartedly recommend this to someone who's really wanting for something completely different from any other kind of cruise, or somebody who liked Alaska, but they want more. One of the things that some of the Alaskan cruise lines say is we have 2 glacier experiences on every voyage. In Svalbard, you have 2 glacier experiences every day. It's quite an amazing destination. So with that, I'm going to close out Aurora Expeditions, and I'm going to turn it over to Tim with Silversea Expeditions, and he's going to give us his presentation. So take it away, Tim.
Okay, can you see my screen, Susan?
Yes.
It's up.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, thank you for having us once again. Really appreciate the opportunity. I have the privilege of approaching this from a slightly different perspective. And the reason being is I worked on board our ships for over 10 years as an expedition leader. So many of the destinations that we go to and deliver as a brand and as a company are places that I've either been to in the role of expedition leader or part of the expedition team. So my approach to what we do in the world of Silverseas, I think, is really well summed up. We're one of the leaders and pioneers in this luxury space on the small ship cruising side, and then having transferred that into the expedition space over the last 15 years or so has been an incredible opportunity for us. I know this isn't the focus of the presentation today, but just to highlight sort of our role within the cruise industry as of 2024, when that entire fleet is complete, we'll be about 1/3 of the capacity within the ultra luxury space and in cruising in general. All small ships. When I joined the company, it was 4 ships. You can see how we've grown in the years since then. But obviously the focus today is to look at what expedition cruising is. And Bonnie did an incredible job, and Suzanne as well, just highlighting. What I'd like to do is just take a step back and talk about the concept to help people visualize the experience in general, and then I'll dive a little bit deeper into some of the destinations. This is fundamentally made possible as a form of travel by the Zodiac. So the Zodiac is that small little inflatable boat. They are, I'm from South Africa originally, so this concept of safari at sea is something that I really resonate with, because you've got the platform of the vessel that is then getting you to the destination. And then the Zodiac is what's taking you out to do the exploration, be it the snorkeling, be it the Zodiac cruising, be it the kayaking. But fundamentally, it's what's facilitating access to these remote parts of the world. I think one of the other really strong concepts, and it's definitely something that Bonnie mentioned, quite a lot, is the educational component. This is something that's called Base Camp, but it's a touchscreen interactive section. It's about the expedition staff on board providing the educational components, be it in the form of lectures, on the ground guiding and things like that. So it's about destination immersion, to take that core concept about deeper understanding and luxury and the experience. But one of the other sort of fundamental things, and Suzanne, you mentioned it again, just in the process of getting onto a Zodiac, I wanted to just highlight the process of getting off the Zodiac and what it means to step ashore, because the incredible benefit of going to an organization with someone like Suzanne is there's so much opportunity and so many different companies working in this expedition space, and knowing that you're matching the right person with the right product is something that a truly great consultant can do for you. So this is just showing you the physical minimum requirement that I would suggest someone needs to be able to do to be able to participate. Another example of that is, I say, walking up and down a flight of stairs. But we really want people, when they're coming, to at least be able to get off the ship, get into the Zodiac, and then go out and explore. So from that perspective, we've got an incredible fleet. We've got the 3 ships that operate in the polar regions. This is the Cloud, the Wind, and Endeavour down in Antarctica last year. We have another vessel that works entirely in the equatorial region. I won't talk too much about her. But as far as the company, we've been around in this expedition space for a long time. I'm quite fortunate to say this is now our vessel. She was launched under another company, but the most expensive expedition ship that was ever built, and she now operates for us. And why I point that out is, I spoke a little bit about finding the right niche within this world of expedition travel. This is our mudroom. It is somewhat of a bragging point, but each one of those boots is actually sitting on a hot heated air vent. So when you go down for your landing in Antarctica, you're putting your boots on and they're nice and hot or dried out if they got a little bit of water into them. But why I say that is because not all expedition ships or expedition operators are built equal. So when I started in 2008, the far left was the Silver Explorer, and that was the pinnacle. That was the epitome of what luxury and expedition travel has. And through the success of our brand and other companies, you can see how the industry has shifted. The Silver Endeavour now is what's setting our benchmark for a standard size suite to enter into the market. And why that's so useful is there are so many great operators out there that really working with your travel consultant and understanding what the right product match is for you is so important to understanding the best and the value that you're going to be getting out of those destinations. I always look at the industry as 2 axes. I see a luxury axis and I see an expedition axis. And there are certain operators that really excel in that expedition delivery, and there are certain that really excel in the luxury delivery. And I think what Silverseas has really identified is that Goldilocks zone where we've merged both those experiences and deliver a truly incredible luxury and expedition product at the same time. So we're gonna jump to some of those polar regions and just focus on how we as a company aim to deliver them. We've spoken a lot about Svalbard as a destination from the Aurora trip that you just saw. We also have departures out of Iceland, Greenland, both on the east and west coast, and then quite an extensive deployment in the Hudson Sea or Hudson Bay, the Canadian Arctic, and of course the Northwest Passage. We've already spoken about Svalbard being that destination. It is, other than the 2 main sort of settlements of Longyearbyen, the tiny little Russian settlements of Barentsburg or New Ellison for the research station, it is essentially a wildlife preserve and the best opportunity, or one of the better opportunities up in the Arctic to see polar bears. Obviously, we spoke about some of the other, iconic species, the walrus, the Arctic fox, the caribou reindeer, etc. So that's really one of the core focuses of that Svalbard archipelago and how you deliver that. When you start getting across to Greenland, they say it's one of the greatest marketing initiatives. It's generally not that green. It's got far more ice than Iceland, the home of the only ice sheet in the Northern Hemisphere. But it's about these big, beautiful vistas. It's about the small community visits. And, Suzanne was mentioning she had gone down to Antarctica on these bigger vessels. You can also go to Greenland on a bigger vessel. But when you think of visiting a town like this, with only 450 people, and you're on a ship with 2,000, maybe 3,000 passengers, and they're all just getting dumped ashore at the same time. I think speaking about the responsibility of us as operators delivering these destinations in an authentic way is something that we as a company also take quite closely to heart. Throughout the Arctic experience, as a contrast, the Canadian Arctic is definitely going to be more wide open vistas and things like that. It's going to be a great opportunity again to see polar bears. Greenland in general is not a great destination. Bonnie spoke about IECO. That's the governing body that administers tourism in the Arctic. Effectively, in Greenland, we can't approach polar bears. If we see them, we need to retreat from the area. They are still actively hunted by the native people there. So for a general experience, if you're looking to go on an Arctic cruise and you're looking to see polar bears, either the Svalbard or the Canadian Arctic are going to be your best bets. The Canadian Arctic also then represents a little bit more in terms of culture with its carvings and things like that. And places like the Churchill River on the south western corner of Hudson Bay, 3,000 beluga whales migrate into the river for their breeding as our ships are turning around there. So some really incredible destinations up in the Arctic to explore. The antithesis, Antarctica, no bears in direct translation, is another fantastic destination to explore. And what's so incredible about us as an operator, having those 3 vessels down there, is we can deliver one of the 3 prime ways of visitation down there in any one experience. So the fly cruise is something that I'll talk a little bit more about. It isn't something that's operated by most companies. Then there's the traditional 10-day sailings, which go down to the peninsula and back up with the traditional 2-day crossing of the Drake Passage, and then the longer format voyages out to the Falklands, South Georgia, and down to the peninsula. So we have one of these departures on rotation with one of our ships the entire time. Now, importantly for us as a luxury operator, we used to operate out of Ushuaia. Unfortunately, it's become very busy over the last few seasons. You're not guaranteed a berth there anymore. Turnarounds and windy port days can be a little bit of a nightmare. The airport is a bit of a disaster. There's no space for group check-ins and things like that. So as a company, we holistically looked at the entire Antarctic program, and we decided that we needed to change how we're delivering it. So our Antarctic program effectively starts in Santiago, Chile. We have charter flights either down to Punta Arenas, where you transfer directly to the vessel and embark there. It's 2 hours further down on the Chilean side of the Beagle Channel, or the fly cruise program, which starts again in Santiago, the charter flight down to Punta Arenas, and then that final, as Bonnie mentioned, 1 hour 40 to 2 hour flight down to Antarctica, skipping the Drake Passage sailing. So, talking about that experience, it's high fixed wing planes, and it's something that we as a company have decided is a core area of our operation down in Antarctica, and we've invested quite heavily into that successful execution. But you fly straight over the vessel, land on the gravel runway on King George Island in the outer South Shetland Islands. And from that moment, your time in Antarctica starts. You've had all of the briefings that you need to do that are traditionally done on the sea day crossing, and then from down there, you're in Antarctica for that entire core competence. And this is a great option for travelers, particularly over that busy holiday season that might not have 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get away and can still get down there. I think the highlighting of how the expedition product is delivered in Antarctica, I think Bonnie did an incredible job of highlighting how different companies with the size of the vessels operate. I think one of the most important considerations about how Silverseas has approached our delivery of our Arctic or Antarctic programs is we have the capacity to get everyone off the ship at once. And how that's facilitated, as she says, you can only land 100 passengers ashore, but we have enough Zodiacs, kayaks, expedition staff and team to get 100 people ashore, 100 people out, either doing a kayaking or zodiac experience, and do what we call is a hot loading. So you're still getting the best of the destinations. You have the ability to do 2 landings a day, get out and maximize your time ashore in locations where that's obviously practical, not necessarily if you're just doing a Zodiac cruise and things like that, but still fundamentally true expedition delivery is at our core. We just aim to do it in the most luxurious way possible. Regardless of how much time you're spending down in Antarctica, about 60 to 70% of that time is going to be spent on the ship, because it's sleeping, eating, and all of those other elements. And that's an area that we recognize we deliver an exemplary product. Because Suzanne was talking about the photo opportunity, Antarctica truly is a spectacular place to visit. But I often get asked this question: if you're only planning one trip, heading down to South Georgia for those king penguins really is one of my absolute favorite destinations in the world. Now, as a brand and as a company, having been in this industry for over 15 years delivering luxury expeditions, we've traveled around the world. Rather fun for me to bring this back to Australia, where Aurora is originally from. But the Kimberley coast in Australia is a little destination, and I love to highlight it because everyone's like, well, I've been to the Arctic, I've been to Antarctic, where else can I go? And this truly exemplifies what expedition travel is, but in a warm weather environment, because it's got the beautiful scenery of the sandstone cliffs. And the Kimberley in itself is a region on the northwestern part of Australia. We have a number of different sort of options, either all the way down to Fremantle, which is the port city of Perth, or the trip up into Indonesia, visiting places like Tanah Toraja land up in Sulawesi, going to Komodo Island, Pink Beach for the Komodo dragons, and then down to Bali for the end of the trip. Why the Kimberley? So David Attenborough actually called it his seventh natural wonder of the world. It is a spectacular destination to go out and explore. They've got massive tidal spring tide ranges there, which create a couple of really interesting water phenomena. It's also home to the only place where two specific styles of rock art are found, and interacting with the native landowners that are custodians and caretakers of these experiences is truly quite exceptional. Obviously, in the Galapagos, it's not in the Galapagos. Sorry, my mind's jumping ahead. In the Kimberley, it's home to some of the world's largest saltwater crocodiles. So we definitely don't do any water activity there. So please don't think you're going snorkeling, because that's not going to happen. But it really is, from a warm weather delivery perspective, an incredible destination. Now, just in terms of the overall positioning, I think it's really worth understanding that Silversea's has aimed at being the most all-inclusive delivery. So when I say our Antarctic program starts in Santiago, that means the charter flight is included. That means the parka, the gear, and even something like this, the kayaking experience down in Antarctica or the Arctic, is an inclusive part of our program. And it's based on our delivery that we want all of our guests to be able to participate and be able to do everything. So this does work on a rotation system. If you've been the first time, then the person who hasn't been gets first choice. But in that way, we have the ability to deliver these incredible opportunities for all our guests on board. And that goes beyond into the five-star dining, butler service for every suite. And it's completely all-inclusive nature of how we deliver. One of the sort of core concepts about who we are as a company, however, is our destination immersion. And we say that we go to almost twice as many destinations as our nearest competitor in this space. And what that means is, for us, it's about 900. Our competitors maybe 500. And for me, it really brings us back to that original slide that I shared. And this image focuses that for me. This was in the Norwegian fjords on a trip that I was leading. And we had one of the big passenger vessels sailing past us. Suzanne spoke about Alaska. And it's about recognizing that when you get off, you're on the Zodiac, you have the ability in these small expedition environments to go out and explore. It really changes your view and your ability to experience those destinations. And that is what we really want to do as a brand and as a company. I'm going to play a short video. I'm just going to cancel. I wanted to make sure that I shared the right audio setting. So I'm going to stop sharing and then restart that in a quick second. I've lost my Zoom. Can you hear me?
Just hit Alt-Tab. You should,
Yeah,
it
you're
should,
still good.
should come back.
I'm back. And here we go for the video.
What does it mean to be an explorer? I don't know. Maybe it's in my nature. It's in everybody's nature. We are all explorers. I guess it's the same for all of us. We wake up in the morning and we feel one lifetime will never be enough. Not enough to know, to see, to feel everything you want. That's why we explore. It doesn't really matter how far you go, how often or how long you travel for. We do it because every step we take, our souls become larger, richer, and more defined. Life wouldn't be life without a little curiosity. The world is full of opportunities. We just have to go out and take them.
Excellent. I know we'll get to questions later, but Steve McCurry is the photographer made famous for the Afghan girl, the shot with the beautiful green eyes, and he presented that to us on our 10-year anniversary a few years ago. But I just love that messaging. I think the world is out there, and we just need to go explore it. But thank you very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Tim. I am going to now share my actual exploration experience that we had in Greenland with Silversea. So yes, in the Canadian Arctic. So just this is kind of the area we were in, mostly the Baffin Bay, a little bit. I don't even think we're down in the Labrador Sea. Luxury touches that you get with Silversea: butler service, a champagne greeting. They even did a champagne and chocolates on the rocks event for us. 3 included gourmet dining venues on this ship, each with rotating menus. So really incredible food. We had the wonderful experience of having 3 personalized chef's table that my husband just started talking to the chef about liking curry. And he said, I'll do an Indian night, get your friends together. So we had 3 of these, and it was really wonderful to have that personalized dining service. Very beautiful food presentation. They have a full sit down for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. There's also a buffet option, and then multi-course room service is even available to be delivered by your butler. In specifically the Canadian and Greenlandic Arctic, you're going to see amazing scenery like this. We went in August, so there was sunsets. We started and ended in the Kangerlussuaq Fjord, where we had this just spectacular scenery. And then this is my favorite shot of the whole cruise, the Ilulissat Ice Fjord. That looks very remote. This was about a half-mile walk from the place where the bus dropped you off. So very accessible to get to this vantage point. Absolutely beautiful, breathtaking ice fjord. In August, we were lucky enough to be far enough south, but have a clear night. And north enough, we got Aurora Borealis. So we had our expedition leader actually got on the intercom and woke everybody up, and people were out on their pajamas on the back of the ship taking pictures of the Aurora Borealis. Again, here's my little video of people getting on and off the Zodiacs, just so you can kind of see what the process is like on the landing. That's kind of their basic requirement. In Greenland, you go to places like the capital of Greenland, which will be the northernmost capital in the world once Greenland, if and when they get their independence. They're semi-independence from Denmark right now. You see these wonderful little villages, and every little village in Greenland seems to have their own little museum. And this one had 2 turf houses that were part of the museum. So learning about that culture. In Nuuk, there was one of the most amazing museums, and they had both Viking, Danish, Inuit, and even some whaler history there. And then we also in Canada, we visited a historic whaling site. So you get that history and the culture in Canada and Greenland. We had a archaeologist on board with us, and he was an expert on Arctic, mostly ancient Arctic societies, did a couple of lectures. He was accessible to talk to at any time. So we talked to him a lot, learned so much. And of course, the polar bears. These are 4 different polar bears that we had the opportunity to photograph. And again, these are our own photographs that we took of the polar bears. So very excited about that. our wonderful expedition team. They just did such a good job. We had cultural people from an Inuit woman from Canada that did cultural presentations for us. We, of course, had history, biology, everything that you could want to learn about the area. On this particular ship, we actually had quite a rich entertainment program. We had the classic things like Liars Club, daily team trivia. The chef even did a cooking lesson. And Daniel was our entertainment director. He is also a singer. So if he is your entertainment director, you do get 4 singing shows. The other entertainment directors are not necessarily singers. So we were going to have a piano player and a guitar player singer that provide entertainment as part of the evening program. And logistics. For this particular cruise, Silversea handled everything. They got us from Phoenix to New York City, a night at a Times Square hotel, bus back to the airport, charter flight to Kangerlussuaq, and back. So it was just wonderful having that door-to-door service through Silversea, and it's a wonderful option that they offer. And of course, just to kind of give you a brief summary, if you were thinking about the Canadian and Greenlandic Arctic, you'll see incredible scenery, wildlife, you'll see modern and historic cultures, food, wine, onboard experience, absolutely fabulous with Silversea. As Tim mentioned, they are that crossroads of luxury and expedition. This is something that we wholeheartedly, again, the same with Aurora, would recommend to our guests. A little bit different experience with the Silversea being a little bit more on the luxury side. But both absolutely fabulous experiences. So there'd be something that I can help advise you as to which Arctic experience or Antarctic experience would be the best fit for you and your style. And I can talk about the nuanced differences between the two if you're thinking about booking. So now, enough with those cold weather destinations. I'm going to bring in Jansen Langman of Celebrity Cruises, and he's going to talk about the Galapagos, which is on the equator. So we're not polarized there. So take it away, Jansen.
All right. Thank you so much, Suzanne. And thank you, Tim and Bonnie. I'm ready to go. Amazing presentations. Good afternoon, adventurers. And I am super excited to be here. But first and foremost, I do want to thank Steve and Suzanne for your partnership. We've been working together for so many years now, and I'm excited and grateful for you bringing this wonderful adventure show, expedition show together. And obviously to everyone, it's evident that you have a passion for travel, and your knowledge and expertise really deliver on your concierge style of service to your guests. So thank you for that. So starting with celebrity, connect with nature. I mean, what else can we do? I mean, we saw such great destinations so far. I'm going to top it off with one final destination. But before I start off, I do want to kind of just share that we have an amazing story. In fact, in 2023, Celebrity Cruises was the first cruise line to be star rated by Forbes Travel Guide. And one of which, and still continues to be the only one to be star rated in Ecuador, is the Celebrity Flora, which will be featured, our highlighted ship here, or mega yacht vessel in the Galapagos. So to give you a brief overview, it is an all-inclusive experience. Most popular will be a 10-night package. That will include pre and post experiences in Quito, which, by the way, Quito and the Galapagos are both UNESCO World Heritage Sites. So those are two off your, I call them bucket lists. So not bucket lists. Let's turn those bucket lists into bucket lists. So that will include round trip flights to Baltra from in the Galapagos from Quito. And I'll share that with you as well. The 7-night Galapagos cruise. When I say all-inclusive, all your meals, all your beverages, gratuities, all your onboard programming, all your shore excursions, fully escorted by certified Galapagos naturalists, all your snorkeling equipment, binoculars, bathrobes. Recently, internet service as well as laundry service has been added. And of course, all your entrance fees. Here we go. And then in terms of the most popular, it would be the 10-night package, which again includes the 2-night pre in Quito. You do stay at the JW Marriott for 2 nights pre, all your meals and tours. Your chartered flight from Quito to Baltra with our partnership with Avianca is also included. And you also have an opportunity to do Machu Picchu for a 16-night option. And again, there's a great itinerary there. So why not check off 2 additional, the Quito, the Galapagos, as well as Machu Picchu on that bucket list. But for those of you that are new to the Galapagos territory, similar to as I was when I first joined Celebrity over 10 years ago, the Galapagos Islands are off the coast of Ecuador, and it's a quick 2 hour and 20-minute flight from Quito to Baltra, which is in the Galapagos Islands. There, your adventure starts with a fully chartered flight after your 2-night stay in the JW Marriott. And then again, you take your 7-day cruise and fly back to Quito for one final overnight before your flight back home. So there is obviously a big difference between visiting and experiencing. And I think what you've seen in the past presentations or in the last 45 minutes is this is not your typical cruise, right? This is not where you go into a theater. There's no formal nights, obviously, but there is a fully immersive aspect here, which I truly love. And again, this is what the modern day traveler, the modern day adventurer, the globetrotter, the adventure seeker is looking for, which is actually being fully immersed. And one thing that we can guarantee in the Galapagos is wildlife sighting and interaction. There's no other destination in our Celebrity portfolio where I can guarantee either, not even Alaska, if you can believe that. But you do have a very intimate experience here because you do see it through the eyes of the experts. And again, you will be this close to the wildlife. Each excursion, all included, up to 2 or 3 a day, and each will be hosted by a certified Galapagos Natural Park naturalist, which is, essentially a scientist in their own right. And you do have different opportunities and options. So essentially the night before and the next day, the naturalist will go over the variety of different excursions that will be offered that range anywhere from advanced snorkeling to coastal explorations and kayaking to even off-beach excursions, as well as a variety of hiking options. But again, you will see wildlife that are unique and can only be found in the Galapagos Natural Park. So I'll go through some of those lists here, including in Fernandina Island. You'll see the only marine going iguana in the world. As you can see, they live on volcanic rock. And essentially, where do you think they forage for their food? Well, I'll show you. It's actually underwater. So occasionally, as you're trekking through these islands, you'll see this marine going iguanas on land, and it looks like they're sneezing. And what they're actually doing is expelling the water from being underwater and foraging for food through their nostrils. You'll also see flightless cormorants. Now, cormorants are native to up and down the coast of California all the way to Seattle, but one thing that's unique to the Galapagos Islands are these flightless cormorants that also forage for the food underwater. But the A-listers, the celebrity listers, and I think this has also turned Suzanne into, I think you called it a birder. So
birder now.
Are these Nazca boobies, the red-footed booby, and the very, very popular and super adorable, super cute, the infamous blue-footed booby. And we also have the waved albatross, as well as a variety of different beaches, including here at Gardner Bay. Now in the Galapagos Islands, you'll see white sand, red sand, black sand beaches. And again, you will encounter these wildlife that are actually more interested in us than we are of them, truly making for a unique experience that can only be found in the Galapagos Islands. Now you've seen a little bit of what the Galapagos offers. How do we deliver that? Well, we deliver that through an all-suite 100-passenger mega yacht that is Celebrity Flora, award-winning, and again, Forbes Travel Guide star rated, delivering luxury at its finest. You'll see there on the back a marina that folds down, and our Novaronia yacht tenders, say that 10 times fast, or even 5 times, Novaronia yacht tenders exclusively built and purposely built for our Celebrity Flora that sails to the Galapagos 52 weeks a year for an amazing excursion. And again, this vessel was actually inspired by our current flagship Celebrity Edge that features open concept, king-size beds, floor-to-ceiling windows. In fact, the smallest configuration in terms of square footage for this all-suite vessel is about 335 square feet. So all suites on this amazing vessel. As I mentioned, she is new. Inaugural sailing was in June of 2019, about 5,000 tons, a near 1-to-1 guest to crew ratio, and a 10-to-1 guest to naturalist ratio, bringing it truly for a more intimate experience and a luxurious experience that can only be found on Celebrity Flora. Here's a great shot of that Nova Ronia yacht tender. And again, that Celebrity Flora was purposely built for our product in the Galapagos, as well as this yacht tender. And you'll notice on the front, there's a certain level of steps that will actually connect right to the marina for a more graceful embarkation and disembarkation process when it comes to the tendering. And you'll notice on the left-hand side here, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but there's a little ramp right to the left of that gentleman on the very front, on the left side here. And that will actually, there's an actuator that controls that. So think of it as a kind of a driveway when you get off and embark on this yacht tender for those beach landings. Definitely luxury, even in our yacht tender. So if you think about, if we put that much detail or attention to our tendering process, can you imagine the rest of the ship as well as the adventure itself? So great shot here, as I mentioned, inspired by the design of our Celebrity Edge flagship. Truly open concept, modern, floor-to-ceiling windows throughout. This is the Discovery Lounge. You can see there the huge, beautiful LED screen, what will feature a lot of different options for your excursions throughout the day, maybe some recaps, lots of seating. And as we go through this, keep in mind, this is only a 100-passenger vessel. And yet we are able to deliver not just a seaside restaurant, so an indoor full service restaurant, but as well as an outdoor, and I'll show you that slide in a bit. But again, as you can see, our goal in terms of design was truly to constantly connect you to the destinations, again, with those floor to ceiling windows. Great shot of the observatory here as well. This is located on the front. Again, truly connecting you with the destination that is the Galapagos Islands. And for those of you that enjoy outdoor lounging as well, a great opportunity to witness the sunsets in the area. And of course, the vista, where we will feature indoor-outdoor dining as well in the Ocean Grill restaurant. I know I can hear you oohing and ahhing back there. It truly is beautiful. I've done this presentation so many times, and the ship does definitely deliver. In fact, it has a near 100% guest satisfaction rating, truly elevating that experience and adventure. And as I mentioned, I'm going to show you some of the slides when it comes to our suites. This is all suites accommodation. This is a great shot of our penthouse suite. And I'll continue to highlight, I mean, floor to ceiling windows throughout. As I mentioned, king size beds. This is one of 2 penthouse suites that are over 1,200, yes, 1,200 square feet of amazing space, always connecting you. And again, all the king size beds are outward facing. So from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, you are truly connected to this amazing destination. This is our ultimate sky suite with infinite veranda. Infinite veranda essentially is a type of stateroom that eliminates the threshold between indoor and outdoor living space. This was first introduced on our Celebrity Edge flagship and has continued to be a trademark by Celebrity, which definitely takes full use of the entire stateroom, and you'll see some of that here. However, for those of you with that love that traditional veranda with the indoor-outdoor separation, we do still have that, the Sky Suite with the indoor-outdoor separation, and you can actually still step out. This is about 330 square feet. So I'm going to wrap up with one of the most amazing, I guess, since I've been with Celebrity in terms of promotions. I've not seen a promotion that has been so generous, because when I tell you all-inclusive, it truly is. And now it gets even better, because right now until December 31st, so just until the end of the year, we are doing 20% savings on all cruises and packages. So whether it's your 10-night package to your 16-night package, which includes Machu Picchu, it is currently 20% off. And flights are on us. Yay! So feel free to clap that. So now it is truly.
Because that penguin can't fly.
What's that?
I said that's good because that penguin can't fly.
Right. That's a good point. Yes. So
Okay.
flights
All
are
right.
on us. Any destination gateway in North America is included as well. So the deals does not get any better. And of course, we'll have some exclusive promotions exclusively and only through Suzanne and Steve.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. I am going to toggle over quickly to my presentation because we are running a little long, but I'm going to go through. I don't want to shortchange people on Galapagos. So here we go. So here is one of my pictures. And you can see we got a marine iguana, a flightless cormorant, and a beautiful, beautiful set of sea lions all in the same picture there. Talk about logistics being completely seamless with Keto. It was every aspect was just handled so perfectly by Celebrity. From the people meet you at the airport, put you on the bus, meet you at the hotel. Everything was just completely seamless from start to finish. It made it so easy. You didn't have to think, you didn't have to navigate. It was fabulous. Again, the sea lions are one of the most wonderful things. You see them every day. People took 500 pictures on that first day of the sea lions. These are my Galapagos flamingo pictures. Again, I'm not a birder, but hey, look at my bird pictures. These are my Nazca booby pictures. I think this was the second half of the first day. I mean, it was just amazing. Every day we're seeing different birds. I've got in the upper left-hand corner a brown knotty tern. We have that waved albatross, and again that elusive Galapagos penguin. I was so excited I got a picture of him as well. Again, some more bird pictures. A giant blue heron, the frigate bird that you see flying there. That's the bird that during mating season inflates his neck into a giant red heart to attract a mate. And then of course we have some young flamingos that are white because they haven't turned pink yet from the algae. And the blue-footed boobies. I love these guys. And guess what? It was the drink of the day after we got back from taking these pictures. So that made it a lot of fun. We also had a chance to see incredible reptiles. The land iguanas, the marine iguanas, and the lava lizards are all endemic to the Galapagos Islands. And of course, my favorite, hundreds and hundreds. Yeah, my favorite is these giant Galapagos tortoises. We got to see them in the wild. I mean, you can get an idea of how large they are. They were just amazing. Here's a couple shots of the Celebrity Flora ship, and then you see us standing in front there. You see a yacht tender here, and then you see the ship back there. But there's also the flora of Galapagos. So there you see Steve participating in the reforestation program, where they are tearing down non-native trees and replanting them with the important native species, which are important nesting grounds for the native birds and other sources of life for the other indigenous endemic animals in Galapagos. Some of the best food at sea with that great Celebrity service. If you've cruised on one of their larger ships, you know how much pride they take into their food program. It was wonderful. And like I said, breakfast and lunch is a buffet. And I had one client ask me, I don't know if I can do the small ship because I'm glucose intolerant, or not glucose, what's the word? Gluten-free. I'm gluten-free, and everything was labeled. So she would go up, she would be able to go up to the buffet and know exactly what she could eat and not eat. So it's amazing. And there's also a really immersive experience in Ecuador with 90% of the staff being Ecuadorian. They had Ecuadorian food offered at every meal. It wasn't exclusively, but you did have that opportunity. It really was a unique Ecuadorian experience. You get to visit historic Quito, which is itself, the whole downtown is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. They also take you to the Museum of the Equator, and that is a real live llama there at the museum, where they talked about chocolate. You get to stand on the equator and get your picture taken. And then one afternoon they take you into town. You get to do a little souvenir shopping, and they take you out to this ranch. It's a coffee ranch. It's also where the tortoises are, and you get to see these wonderful folkloric performances by local dancers. And if you like ceviche, like I do, you can eat ceviche on this cruise almost every day. Now, Steve doesn't eat seafood, so he didn't have any, but I had ceviche every day. I'm going through ceviche withdrawal now that I'm back. Again, easy on and off the ship with an overrunning yacht tenders. You can see the platform. Those are people just walking up the stairs to get off. And then we have that wonderful naturalist staff. They are both your chaperones and your educators in the Galapagos, and tell you everything about the geography, the geology, the flora and fauna of the island. I learned so much during this cruise from these folks. It was absolutely amazing. And then Celebrity does have an entertainment program on this ship. They even include the silent disco. They have a musician that plays the piano and other instruments. They have Galapagos themed nature movies and documentaries. They have the naturalist lectures. And at the end of the cruise, they even had a trivia game where it was all about the Galapagos. So it was, how well did you pay attention if you won that? So in summary, the Celebrity Flora is absolutely a wonderful way to see the Galapagos. It's a year-round warm weather expedition, food, service, everything fantastic. It is all inclusive from, you know, getting to Quito, getting to Baltra, getting back. It was so seamless and a wonderful way to really experience this unique flora and fauna. This ecosystem is like no other place in the world, and it's such a treat to be able to experience that. Now I'm going to talk about the summary of our specials, and if Tim and Bonnie and Jansen want to chime in on any of this, but if you book an Aurora expedition through me between now and November 12th, you're going to receive an additional 5% off your cruise fare. Silversea Expeditions is
And that's off any
offering,
existing promotions going on for Aurora
yeah,
too. So.
in addition to any existing promotion. Yeah. And Silversea, again, any existing promotions, you're going to get an additional $500 off a double occupancy or $250 off a single occupancy. Got to be booked by
Suzanne,
November 14th. Yes.
Sorry, just to existing sort of promotions on the top of this would be, there's a single category suite upgrade on the expedition product at the moment. So that's what it would be combined with.
Awesome, awesome. So you book the least expensive suite and you get upgraded to the next category.
Yes,
Is that correct? Okay. All right. And then with Celebrity, Jansen is offering a free GoPro camera, which if you're going to get in the water and snorkel, and that could be a wonderful thing to have with you, or an amenity of similar value if GoPro isn't on your list of things that you need. So again, call me. I will be happy to do a complete quote on any of the itineraries that these three wonderful companies offer. Celebrity does also have two smaller ships in the Galapagos. We saw that Silversea has a wide fleet. Aurora Expeditions has the two beautiful ships that offer a variety of expeditions. You will have a low price guarantee from me, and of course my personalized concierge service. So when you're going to look in your email in the next couple of days, we're going to send you links to our YouTube page, and we have videos highlighting the three expeditions that we've done. And one of the things we didn't even talk about in this presentation is the snorkeling in the Galapagos. So my highlight video that I actually have there is my snorkeling video. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. I did the advanced snorkeling. I do not consider myself an athlete. I am overweight and out of shape, and I did it. So it was not, you know, they don't want you, if you want to figure out if you can do it or not, let's talk about it, you know, so I can help you discern if that's something you can do. There's going to be a video link to this presentation. So you can share with friends and family, anybody you might want to join you on one of these expeditions. And then there's going to be a link to my Cruise Talk blog, which has hundreds of pictures from all three of these cruises and a little bit of running commentary from me. So again, we are Suzanne and Steve Klasen. We are owners of CruiseOne in Sholo, Arizona. We would love to have you as one of our most valued clients. So if you're interested in any of these, please give us a call. My phone number is listed there. You can also email me. I'm glad to email you back with any information. So I'm going
Bonnie,
to...
Tim, Jansen, thank you for joining us. Any last minute comments from you guys?
Thank you so much for having us. Really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Do any of our guests have a quick question to ask any of our experts before they leave us? All right. Okay, I'm just gonna look at the chat real quick and see if there's anything in there.
You can go ahead and stop the
Nothing
recording.
there.
We can still take some questions. Sometimes people are camera shy.